Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm excited to have Nichole here with me today. And Nichole went to TBEX 2023 in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as did I. It was my first time. So I just wanted Nichole to come on and share a little bit about the experience. If you're not familiar with TBEX, what it is, why she went, what she got out of it. So welcome, Nichole.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you. And yes, I'm another TBEX first timer. It was my first time going to the conference. In truth, the year probably 6 months prior, I had never even heard of TBEX. And then it just kind of came across my radar on social media. And I thought, well, what in the world is this TBEX thing? I've never heard of it. And I thought, when I was looking at the locations in the past, I thought, my goodness, they've been in Europe, they're going to Africa, all these places. And then Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And it worked out perfectly because though we live in Southwest Arkansas, my husband has family about an hour and a half from Eau Claire. So I was like, this is ideal. The kids can actually go see their family because we live so far from everyone. We got a little family vacation out of it. And then I got to go to do this thing called TBEX. And I was so excited. I had a couple of other friends that I met there, and we ended up sharing an Airbnb that was within walking distance of downtown, which was really nice. It was
Oh,
kind of ideal.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so none of us had been to TBEX before. We just thought, we want to stay pretty close to downtown, so we weren't going to be doing a lot of driving back and forth because none of us knew what to expect. And I think I went into it with quite a bit of trepidation, just not really sure what to expect. A lot of imposter syndrome, wondering, what am I even doing here? I don't really belong here. So I arrived, let's see, one day early, and I got to go pick up my packet, and I could tell right away just the vibe and energy was so good and so welcoming and so warm. And downtown Eau Claire, Wisconsin is quite possibly one of the cutest places I've ever been. Um, and then I did sign up for one of the Pre-Bex tours. Did you do one of
Yeah,
those?
I did one of those too. Which one did you
Okay.
do?
So I did the kayaking. When I saw that pop up, I was like, that's perfect. That's right up my alley. I want to do that. And so it was, I think that one was on Tuesday. I only did one of the tours. So I did that one on Tuesday, and it was beautiful. The river was
Yeah.
just stunning. The weather was ideal. It was nice and cool compared to where we live in Southwest Arkansas, where it's just awful right now. So we paddled about 3.5 miles, and I was really lucky that Birds and Nature Tours, Chris, I cannot recall his last name, but he's from Alabama. He's actually he's a birder and a photographer by
Oh.
nature. So he was on the kayak trip with us, which was so cool because he was pointing out, like there's a bald eagle's nest, there's a bald eagle. We saw a golden eagle.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
we got the living daylights scared out of us when a what is that fish? It's a sturgeon breached the water.
Oh
Like,
my
no
god.
warning. This sturgeon just flew a full body out of the water, like this 4 foot long fish, and it crashed down, and it's like, it's a shark. No, we're in a
Right.
river. But it was really fun. And then we ended at this really cool sandpit volleyball place, and it just but the thing that stuck out to me the most was everybody was so kind and welcoming, and there was no like I didn't feel any like clicks or like, oh, you're new here, we don't want to talk to you. Everybody was so cool and so willing to just like share their story and invested in hearing everyone's story. So that took away all of the fear that I had. It took away all of the concern I had about, do I really belong here? So that
Yeah.
Pre-Bex tour is 100% worth it
Oh,
because
totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
really
it's included in the price, which is
right.
crazy too. Because I mean, they had some really nice things that people were doing before the
Yes. Where did you
conference.
do?
Let's see. The first day I did, like, we went out to see the alpacas, and then they took us to this cute little restaurant in another little cute town. Osseo, I think is the name of it, and we had like pies and
Oh,
food
how
and but yeah,
fun.
everyone was super super talkative and super welcoming. I never once felt like, oh, I'm a first timer or I'm just getting started with content creation or any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Same. I felt the same. So the only thing I would do differently is next time I would make sure that I would take advantage of both
Yes.
pre-Bex tours. I only did one of them, and now I kind of wish I would have done both because they were such a fun experience, but such a valuable experience. I really got a chance to talk with some people and get to know them and make connections, and it was included in the price.
I know. And it sounds like you had some great people on your trip too, like the guy that's the birder. Now I'm like, I want to
Yes.
look him up. How cool
Yeah,
is
he's
that?
doing incredible things in Alabama, really incredible things with his family farm, and he actually was on, I wish I could remember his last name, but there was a show on Disney Plus with National Geographic that was a different birder it was different episodes where he was going around the country and interviewing people who are doing things with ecotourism and birding. And so Chris, Birds and Nature Tours, was on one of those episodes
Oh my gosh.
on Disney Plus. I can't remember the name of the show. But that was just, it was so interesting to me to hear his story and hear everyone's stories and just the really amazing things people are doing and leaning into their skill set and leaning into their passions. And it's really cool to be around a group of people who all think that way.
Yeah, exactly. So what were some of the sessions that you got the most out of? Can you remember?
Woo, yes. I mean, I think it's safe to say everybody probably felt this way, but at the end of the day, I felt overwhelmed in the best possible way. It was just, there was so much information to digest, so much, like there were so many takeaways. Let's see. I mean, every session was phenomenal. I will say one thing I regret is that I couldn't go to every session.
Okay.
So I do love that they, you know how you have to choose like each time.
Yes. Oh
I
yeah.
love that those talks will be available at some point to watch the playback, because I didn't attend any of the sessions on AI, and I really wish that I would have, because it frightens me but intrigues me all at the same time. Uh, but I went to one of the ones that really stood out to me was with Leslie. I don't recall her last name, but it was specifically about email marketing and
Yes.
building your newsletter, and just her energy as a speaker was so much fun. And I mean, the amount of notes I took in that session
Oh,
are
I know, right?
are just ridiculous. And there was another one by Mitch, and his was talking about blogging in 2023, what you need to know. And what was really neat to me is every speaker, every session I attended, every speaker gave so much
Oh
of
my gosh.
themselves, and they
Yes.
gave so much valuable information. I mean, the amount of things that I took away for steps that I can implement to build my own blog, it was astounding. I was so impressed, the value of what I got. I mean, those two sessions alone, it was the blogging in 2023, what you need to know, and then with Leslie's about
Oh yeah.
utilizing your, like, building your email marketing and using your email marketing and monetizing your email marketing. I was just, those two sessions alone blew me away.
Oh, I know, me too. And same thing, I have like a notebook full of notes and
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the recordings to go back to all the sessions
Yes.
I missed.
Yeah, that's actually something I didn't know. I didn't realize when I signed up that we were going to get access to all of those sessions. And someone else actually told me, well, eventually those will be available. So, like, the value of this conference just got stretched even further, because now I can go hear all of the sessions I missed, or the sessions that I really loved, I can go back and listen to again, because I'm sure there's things I missed.
Yeah. Did you participate in any of that speed networking with all the different
I
Oh,
did.
good,
Yeah,
good.
so again, I was a little bit, maybe nervous is not the right word, but I wasn't sure, what do I need to bring? So I had some business cards, like with a QR code that had links to my online portfolio, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and I was really excited because my schedule got full for the speed networking, like about 50-50 of me sending out invites and then them reaching out to me. And it was chaos. And by the end of it, like by the end of that 2 hours each day, I was exhausted. But what was really cool to me is I was, a lot of times, like as a content creator, when we're reaching out to these places, we get like the generic email address,
Yes.
or we can't find an actual person. So it was really neat to me to be able to connect. And ironically, there were a lot from my area. I only live about 30 minutes from Louisiana. And so there were quite a few tourism boards that I actually got to connect face to face
Oh,
with.
nice.
They got to meet me, so they know who I am. I'm not just this person out there, another influencer reaching them. And then I got actual contact information. And with a couple of these places, I even got like jobs lined up with
Oh,
ideas for
really?
projects, and some of these are projects like 2 years from now. They're like, you would be perfect for this. So I haven't for sure booked any of those trips yet, but the communications have started,
Yeah.
and it was so cool to me to actually come away with contact information for a person. Um,
And a potential, like you said, job in a sense,
yes,
yes, and with a real person that you met face to
yes.
face. So when you're ready or the schedule lines up, oh, that's
It
awesome.
was so great, and in such a short amount of time. I mean, it was what was it? I think 2 hours
Yeah.
each evening, and so within those, I met with probably 16 different places over the 2 days. So it's I mean, it's real quick. I think the mistake that I made that knowing this going ahead of time, or if this helps anybody who's a first timer,
Yeah.
having your elevator pitch, if you will, about who you are as a creator. I didn't have mine like honed in and polished, which as you can tell, like I do a lot of different things. So I didn't have that like honed in as well as I wish I would have. So that's something that next time when I go into it, I'm going to have a very polished, here's who I am, here's my audience, this is what I do, this is what I can offer. I kind of
Yes.
got there, but it took by like the third or fourth meeting for me to really feel like I had something um lined out. But it was worth, again, like it's included in the conference. It was absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And even though my schedule didn't fill up right away, they like I appreciated that they like they said the tables were there, the people were
Yeah.
sitting there. So even if you were in between sessions at the coffee breaks, you could walk over there and just sit down and talk to them and maybe ask questions or get your feet wet on what
Yeah.
this connection might be able to offer or how you might be able to work with them. And that alone was invaluable. Those people were
Yes.
there like all
They
day.
were there all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love and they all felt accessible. Like I didn't feel like any of these brands or tours and boards, like you said, they were hanging out there, and if they were available, they were more than happy to chat with everyone. So I feel like what TBEX provides with that networking, it's so helpful for the tourism boards because now they've got this community
Oh,
of willing
yeah.
creators who are right there. They don't have to sift through tons and tons of emails. And then for the creators, we've got captive audience of these tourism boards right there.
Right. And that's when those conversations like happen of what they're looking for, what kinds of articles. And it really gets your mind spinning of what to pitch them, how to pitch them. And
Yes,
like you said, I was like new to that whole one-on-one talking, but like you said, for first timers, I mean, practicing what you're going to say and what you have to offer. I think one of the sessions they talked about that too a little bit.
they did. Yeah, I think I must have missed that one, but I'll listen to it when I can. But you're absolutely right. I think even for, again, like something I'll do next time is spend a little bit more time researching each tourism board and see like what their pillars are for what kind of content they're looking for, and perhaps even come to the table with a pitch specific for
Yes.
that brand or that tourism board. I didn't do that, and I feel like that maybe would have helped me stand out a little bit more. So that's something I'll for sure do next time.
Right. That's a good tip. I was trying to think if there was any other takeaways for people because I definitely think there's a lot of value. I would highly suggest, like, I'm going to make sure to sign up for both days as well of the
Yeah.
pre-bex activities. And then they had, networking and like parties and concerts and stuff
Oh
in some of
yeah.
these. It
It
was,
was amazing. Like the last night after the conference, I didn't even know this was an option, but they were like, yeah, there's four participating restaurants around Eau Claire that we had little tickets in our name pouches, and we could go get a drink and continue the collaboration and socialization. And it was so neat to me to see not just how much TBEX took care of all of its attendees, but Eau Claire
oh my
showed
gosh,
up in
yes.
such a big way and was so like the city itself was so welcoming for everyone. And I'm sold. Like if I can go to every TBEX from here on out, I'm really gonna try because I've not been around. This was also my first industry conference, so I
Oh,
haven't gone
okay.
to like any other. I've been to other conferences, but where I was participating, but like that was homeschool related or
Okay.
something else. I haven't gone to anything as a creator, so I feel like I've spoiled myself now that this was my
I
first
know.
experience because it was so good.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And I felt the same way, like Eau Claire really rolled out the red carpet for us.
Yeah.
And in a way, what a great thing for this destination. They've got all of these content creators, whether it's
Yes.
video or photography or Instagram or YouTube. I mean, whatever we're all doing, we all have
Yeah.
pictures and photos and tagging restaurants. And I mean, and the
Yes.
swag bag alone, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad at I mean, at the very
I like
last
got a
minute.
workout carrying that thing around. There was so much in there.
There was tons of stuff, but I mean, I'm glad at the very last minute since I flew there that I had seen somewhere, I think it was on the Facebook group, because they create a Facebook group that people can participate in, that someone said something like, leave room in your suitcase. So literally,
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I brought an extra tote bag at the last minute, and sure enough, it's like I had to like check one bag and carry one bag on because there was so many things
That's
that
yeah, I would never have thought of that. That's brilliant.
I
That's
know.
so great.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's
no
yeah.
other conference. I mean, there was water bottle. I mean, really usable things. I mean, I
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
I did donate some things to the place I was staying, but other than that, it's like there
There's
was,
a lot of good things in
I
there.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And it made me want to visit Eau Claire again, and it made me want to visit some of these communities like that had things in the swag bag. It was really really neat. And one other thing that was so cool to me was you already mentioned it about how there's some people are taking video, some people are taking pictures, or there's writers. Like it was so cool to me to see, just anyone in the travel sphere, like we all have what we're good at, and we all have like the niche that we really like to lean into, or the medium that we really like to lean
right.
into. And it all came together. Like the way I like to describe it is I went into it fearing it would be competitive, but it was the opposite. The whole experience felt collaborative to me. And even the after effects, like it all feels collaborative, and I feel like it will continue to be. Like the good effects are going to last for a
Oh
long time.
yeah, I completely. And the other thing too that I think people should know is there was such a wide range of ages. Like I sat down at
Yes,
dinner and there were people there with like 15 stickers on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," or people that
right.
have traveled to the international TBEX conferences, which I didn't even know they did that, and
Yeah.
they were just as warm and welcoming and willing to share information. So I liked that it wasn't all, there wasn't just one age group
Oh
represented
yeah,
there.
it wasn't, I agree. I absolutely love that. And equally men, women,
Yes.
Asian, like parents, no parents, like 20 somethings up to even people in their 70s, 80s even. And it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
beautiful to see, and encouraging, so encouraging to know that there's room for all of us to do this.
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway I got too, is there's definitely room. I never at any time felt like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Or, I was
Yeah.
at a bookstore the other day and I've been thinking about doing more writing, and I looked at the travel bookshelf and I was like, oh my gosh, these are all great titles. They already took my idea. But then, like at this T-Bex thing, I never felt like that. I never felt like,
Mhm.
oh, there's not room for me. Oh, that's idea is taken, because there's so many ways to do your idea. It's like, do you?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That sums it up really, really well. And just the like supporting all of us to know that like we all have our own unique, like sure, someone maybe covered this content, but they're not you, and they don't
Right.
have your unique opinion and your unique voice. And I agree. I really came away like some of that imposter syndrome. I was able to shed some of that and just really feel encouraged that no, I have something, and
Yeah.
it's worth keeping at this.
Right. Right. So, will you be going to one of the next T-Bexes, you think?
I certainly hope so. I know the next North America one is Puerto Rico, and I mean, my passport's ready to go. I really would love to do that. I just part of me also feels like, oh, my stars, if I go to Puerto Rico, I'm gonna be like my kids would love this. I'm sure my kids would love it. So I'm thinking about trying to turn it into a bit of a family trip, or this is a little tip for TBEX. They should have like TBEX family version, and
Oh
like
yeah.
I will pay for a babysitter if they could
Right.
hire someone to like look after the kids, because it's
Yes.
summertime,
Oh,
they're out of
that's
school.
true.
If and my husband may or may not be able to come, so I have some the friends I stayed with in Eau Claire, we might all be going and we might pool our money to bring along a babysitter to
Oh,
look after
okay.
our kids during the day. But that would
That
be kind
is
of a cool,
really good feedback though, because if the venue might be able to have like activities just for all the
yeah.
creators that brought their kids to like, because
Hmm.
like Eau Claire would have been perfect. There were places they could have taken the kids like
Yeah.
outside or any of that. And I'm sure as an outdoor, creator, there was plenty of places that you
Oh,
might have.
yes.
I mean, there was
Yes.
outdoor sculpture in Eau Claire. There was,
Oh, there was so much.
yeah.
I feel like I want to plan another trip to Eau Claire just to go and see everything because we've loved it so much.
Yeah. And the other suggestion I thought too, which is happening in the Facebook group, is getting to know more of the participants, like the
Yeah.
other bloggers and writers, because, those collaborations, even between us, sometimes there's things that we can do together, or we hear about something that, oh, Nichole would be perfect for that, or here's another podcast that Nichole could share. So
Yes.
somehow creating, and I don't even know how to do that, but
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the Facebook group is a good start. And I'm glad that they haven't like shut it down or anything.
yeah.
But I think, yeah, that would be really neat because there's so much that can come out of it just from the other people who have attended it.
Right. Because even like I asked one of the organizers, like just getting the names of participants and maybe like your website or whatever
Yeah,
you voluntarily would offer. But I guess they're concerned about privacy aspects. But I would think that, if you wanted to opt in, because I mean, there were so many great writers, photographers.
yeah.
I talked to a guy that does drone photography. I mean,
Oh, that's so cool.
there's so many cool things,
Yeah,
and like you said, a lot of levels of experience for us to network within ourselves
yeah.
to open doors, because
That would be so neat to have access to a database somewhere, just to
yes.
have like our name, like maybe like the niche that you're in. I would for sure opt into that because I'm always open to any sort,
Well,
like anytime I
exactly.
can work with other people, it's so fun.
Right. And I know like each of our creators have so much, just like you, it's like, I may see something that's more geared to what you have to offer, families getting outside, that, oh, this would be perfect for Nichole, but there's
Mm.
probably others that I could suggest for things too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Make that happen.
I'll try. Yeah, exactly. So thanks everyone. And Nichole, do you want to tell everyone your website, where to find you? So if they've come across this video and want to connect with you and what your blog is about, they can reach out to you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So I do have a website and a blog, but in truth, I mostly hang out on Instagram. And my Instagram is Coley Ray. It's COLEYRAEH. I know it's a little weird. But my when we were little, my sister couldn't quite say Nichole. It came out as Coley. And then my middle name is Ray because all of the handles I wanted were taken. So that's what I ended with. And then my account has started to grow. And at this point, I just don't want to change it. So it's Coley Ray. And then my website is Lucky Wanderers, but it's Luckey Wanderers. And on that website, I just do a lot. I share a lot of different things about outdoor adventures with kids, homeschooling. My kids and I do this thing called adventure schooling, where I've been taking them backpacking and camping and canoe camping and all those things by myself since they were little tiny little tykes. And since we started when they were little, the adventures have grown as they have. And I kind of call all of that being responsibly brave.
Oh, I love that. That's
Thank
wonderful.
you.
And so what kinds of collaborations too are you looking for, just in case others are, I mean, I know podcasters and others, but yeah, what kinds of opportunities, what kinds of things are you looking for?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I am always open to podcasts. I feel like that's I get told I need to start my own podcast, but I'm scared to do that at the moment. But I do love communicating. Oral storytelling is kind of one of my favorite things. So I'm always open to podcasts. I really love sharing more about what Responsibly Brave is, what it means to me, and kind of this journey I've taken with, encouraging moms to get out there and adventure with your kids, that you can do it. It's not scary. It's not as scary as the world would lead you to believe, that yes, you can do it. And then just encouraging families. I'm not going to say like one type of schooling is better for the other, but if someone chooses to homeschool, I'm always happy to encourage them to take that homeschool outside and into the real world.
Oh,
So
that's
anything
great.
relating to those, we're also into the travel side. We have the flexibility to travel weekdays during the school year. So we love any destination that has some really great museums for learning along with outdoor adventure.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks for joining me and sharing all about tea bags.
Thank you so much for having me.